So a column is it holds up the building pretty much, the roof. So we have the Doric columns, Ionic columns, and Corinthian columns. The Doric columns came first, so it's kind of just the basic artwork here. You have the capital, which is actually what touches the frieze, which is the top of the building. And you have the shaft. So Doric is kind of basic. The Ionic columns, they started to get more skilled at making these columns, so they started to try different things. The capital has these like swirly lines here. The flutes. So when you see the little indentions there, those are called flutes. And then the Corinthian columns, you see they started to get more elaborate with their artwork, leaves and different things. So very, very elaborate. So today we're going to be looking at the Ionic columns, and we're going to make our own Ionic column. Okay, with the air dry clay that I shared the recipe for. Okay, so that recipe gave me enough air dry clay to make this guy, and I still have a lot left over. Okay, so it does dry. The air dry clay does dry. It takes a couple days. I made this about 4 days ago, and it's pretty hard, and it's even cracking a little bit, which I think looks pretty cool with the column. Makes it look old. Okay, and then I have some toothpicks here. You'll probably need about 3, but I just grabbed some extras. All right, so let's get started. I have my clay in a bag so it doesn't dry out. Like I said, I made this a couple days ago. It's still really moist. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take just a little piece, and I'm going to pinch, tap each side until I get a square. And I'm just going to keep pinching and refining it until I'm happy. I have a square, and that's going to be the base. All right, the base. I'm going to take a toothpick and poke it in the middle. The toothpick is going to support the column because when the clay is wet, it's going to want to fall over. All right, so the toothpick supports it. Okay, now I'm going to pinch off another piece of clay, and I'm going to roll it into a coil with my hands first. All right, so I have that, and then I'm going to roll it out with my fingertips. I like for one part to be thicker and it gets thinner, so I'll roll this part a little bit more. Because if you look at my column, the base is wider than the top part. Okay. So I think that's the length I want it pretty much. So I'll just tap the base to make it kind of flat. Tap the top. Kind of work with it till you get it to where you like it, and I'm happy with that. So I'm going to take the column part, and I'm going to stick the toothpick through the middle. Careful not to poke the toothpick out the sides. Oh, dropped my base. All right, so the toothpick is through the middle. I'm just gonna touch it up as I go. All right, so it's not supporting it that well. It's still kind of floppy, but once it dries, it'll be pretty solid. All right, so I have that. You can see. I'm going to take another toothpick, and I'm going to make the flutes with my toothpick. Okay, so just take the toothpick, push it in, take it out, and you see I have, can you see the indentation kind of? And then I'm going to evenly space out some flutes around the column. If you warp it, or if you kind of mess up the shape a little bit, it's okay, you can fix it later. Alright, I'm happy with that. Just keep flattening my base so it supports. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my toothpick and cut, just so it'll be a little bit straighter. I'm going to cut. So the element of art that we're looking at the most here is form. Remember, form is like 3D shapes. It's 3D, three-dimensional, has height, length, and depth. I mean, length, width, and depth. Okay. So that looks more square, and I'm going to take my toothpick again, and I'm going to do this to kind of join. It's kind of hard to see, but I'm kind of just smearing the part of the base into the column itself to kind of join it together and create a nice little edge. Alright, so we're nice and joined up. And it might warp a little bit, you can just kind of fix it as you go. Alright, so for the capital, remember I said the capital is the top part. You're going to take another piece of clay, about that size, maybe less. And then you're just going to, I like to roll it into a ball first so I have something, you know, like a good 3D shape to work with or form to work with. And then I'm going to flatten it out. And I'm going to tap in the sides to get them flat. And I'm going to make a rectangle. Okay. I want this part to be pretty flat because I'm going to actually curl it. So, especially the edges, like here and here, I'm going to pinch those especially thin. Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to start on one side and kind of roll it, and then start on the other side and make it thinner and roll it. Okay. And you can work with it until you get it to be really nice looking. You don't have to rush through it, but that's what I have. And then I'm going to place it on top where it's centered, meaning the top of the column is going to be right, the top of the column is going to be right here. And then I'm going to poke another toothpick through so that now the capital is attached to the column itself with one toothpick. The base is attached with another toothpick. And voila. Once it's dry, you can remove the toothpicks. I'm going to put another one in there just to make it more stable. I just left mine in so the top doesn't fall off, but I can pinch it to make this wider if I want it to be more stable. But there you have it. You have a Ionic column.